Hey, morning, welcome to Walking with Watches. You join me on what is really a beautiful morning. I love this time of day as we take a little talk about the greatest watch brand of them all, because the collectors that I'm speaking to are telling me that they've just had enough and they're starting to look elsewhere. Now, is this just a me thing? Is this just the people that I speak to? Or are you guys out there feeling the same way? I would love to hear what you think in the comments below, because there is a lot to unpack with this one. So let's not waste any more time. Let's roll the intro and let's get into it. Come on then. Right, first and foremost, Rolex is undoubtedly the king of watches. They wear the crown for a reason. They're the biggest Swiss watch brand by revenue. They certainly seem to occupy a huge place in popular culture and in the hearts and minds of watch buyers and watch collectors generally. And there's always been a sheen about Rolex, isn't there, where they are a brand that you deeply, deeply aspire to own. They've always just had a certain magic, and I think that stems not just from good marketing, but actually from the fact that the brand does make legitimately amazing quality watches. They're bulletproof, their bracelets are amazing, the designs are handsome and iconic. You just don't really seem to miss with a Rolex. Oh, by the way, while we're here, as you can see from the numbers below, this is a tiny little YouTube channel, only a handful of subscribers and things, but I really love doing it. So if you could find it within you to just hit that subscribe button, maybe check back in on a future video, I'd really appreciate it. Cheers. So what is it then that seems to have stoked the ire of the collectors that I'm speaking to? I think it boils down to a few things. Firstly, let's be honest, when it comes to Rolex, the retail experience is horrific. I mean, it's so bad. It's not a pleasure to spend Rolex money through an authorised dealer. It just isn't. There's so many, the shenanigans you have to go through. I mean, it's so well documented. We all know about the shenanigans about trying to buy a Rolex through an authorised dealer. Then, of course, there's the fact that prices generally have been on the increase, and for some people that's neither here nor there, but a large part of the world are living their way through a cost of living crisis, you know? And that's not Rolex's fault necessarily, or indeed in any way, but, you know, the prices are creeping up and up and up. It becomes a bit cost prohibitive for some, me included, to be honest. Then there's the general direction that the brand seems to be going in a more sort of general sense. Precious metals, diamonds, they seem to be trying to diversify away slightly from the steel sports lineup, which a lot of us know and love so well. And there's good reason why they need to do that. They don't just want to be like AP and just make one watch after all. With this general drift in their brand direction, they seem to be more akin to a jewellery maker. With everything being clad in gold and diamonds, I do find myself wondering a lot of the time, which is, who's this brand even really for anymore? Because I'm not convinced that they are necessarily the aspirational watch brand of the middle class that I think for so many years they have been. Self-made men and people who've got a big promotion at work go out and buy themselves a Rolex. I don't know if they do that anymore. And to be quite honest, I'm not even sure necessarily if Rolex want that kind of business anymore. This then plays into the hands of some of the other brands, because there are plenty of brands out there that are quite keen and looking to mop up the business. Tudor, for example, are absolutely smashing it. I mean, Tudor are making absolute bangers, and they really are cleaning up. And they occupy a price point which it's really hard to argue with the quality that you're getting. By no means are Tudor the only ones either. You've got Cartier doing just beautiful watches. Then of course you've got Omega, who are, actually, can we just talk about Omega for a second? Can we just stop for a minute? Omega, what are you doing? I mean, you've got a brand in Rolex whose dealers at least seem to treat their clients with absolute contempt, and you're not there cleaning up. I mean, it is ridiculous. You need to have a serious talk with yourselves. And one of these brands who have been there with open arms, establishing themselves, are of course the subject of today's video, which is Grand Seiko. Now, Grand Seiko only came to the European market in 2010, and I don't think they necessarily have that brand relationship that people have with Rolex or Omega, for example. So let's think about Grand Seiko for a moment, because there really is quite a lot to think about. So firstly, everybody knows that their finishing and their dials are amazing, but can we just stop and go back to spring drive for a minute? Now, I know spring drive has been talked about absolutely to death, and what possibly could there be to say? But every time I put on my Snowflake, I find myself thinking, what if Rolex did this? If Rolex had invented the spring drive and not Grand Seiko, would the watch collecting community and the watch world view spring drive very differently? And I genuinely think that they would. If Rolex had invented the spring drive movement and whacked it into a Datejust or a Day Date or something like that, these watches would be like hen's teeth. You wouldn't be able to get them anywhere, and they would be going for multiples over retail. So it seems to me that the problem isn't that the spring drive isn't brilliant, because it really is, it's an amazing movement. But the problem is the name on the dial, and the name on the dial is Seiko. And this gets me wondering sometimes, I know I'm a Rolex owner myself, but do we have a little bit of snobbery when it comes to Grand Seiko? Because if all you got to do is take a little stroll around YouTube, around the comment section, maybe even of this video, who knows, but around other YouTubers who make a great deal of money buying and selling watches, who will tell you Grand Seiko are terrible, nothing to buy, useless, rubbish, awful, that the type of people that buy them are just dreadful, awing bores, and that really they're just the worst thing in the world. Buy yourself a Rolex and then you will be a better person for it. And I understand some of the reason why people want to do that. They may have a commercial interest in selling Rolexes, and actually, maybe they just love Rolex. And to be fair, like I said at the top of this video, there is so many reasons to love Rolex. Their watches are really brilliant. But I think there's an element of collector community fatigue. I think so many of us are just so tired with the games that seems to be happening with Rolex every time we try and buy one. So what draws me to Grand Seiko then is the watches themselves are very, very handsome. The movement is genuinely brilliant. They're widely available. They're a much more, oddly, they seem a slightly more elegant and, dare I say, even slightly more refined look than a lot of modern Rolexes, particularly if you're not into your golds. Grand Seiko also have a few added advantages which appeal to us collectors, which is, as watches have become more and more popular, and I really have seen this over the last 15 years or so since I started buying watches, which is that awareness has changed. I think 10 or 15 years ago, you could wear an expensive watch to a pub on a Friday night and no one would have a blooming clue what it is. But nowadays, people are much more aware of what it is that other people are wearing, whereas Grand Seiko hasn't yet reached that level of pop culture permeability in that you can wear it pretty much anywhere safely and know you're wearing an amazing quality watch that's completely safe to be around. So let me know what you guys think. From your perspective as fellow collectors, fellow enthusiasts, has all the creative direction of the Rolex brand, has all of the authorized dealer games that you go through, has the hype actually increased your love of the watches? Do you like them more as a result because they, I don't know, maybe they feel more prestigious to you somehow? So let me know what you think. A lot of the collectors I know do seem to be ditching Rolex in favour of other brands. Where do you fall on this spectrum? Are you ditching the 5-pointed coronet, or are you still firmly in the Rolex camp? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as I say, this is all just friendly chat, guys. We're all mates here. We're all fellow collectors on a journey. Right, folks, and I'm going to end it there because, beautiful morning or not, I have to admit, this low sun is making filming a nightmare. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you got Rolex fatigue? Are you starting to move on to other brands, or is your Rolex love affair still ongoing? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Peace out. Remember to hit that subscribe button. You guys are the best. Cheers.